How's it going, YouTube? Welcome back to LandonProduction. I'm LandonProduction, and this is where I talk about the news or anything else trending out there in the world. If you guys are new here, don't forget to subscribe. We are on the road to 1 million subscribers, and you will always be caught up with the latest news and updates. So let's not waste any time here. Let's get right into it. There's so much to talk about. Yesterday was family day, so I didn't produce a video yesterday, so everything's just kind of all in one. First up, let's talk about KFC. They were forced to close down its restaurants after running out of chicken. I'm not sure what is going on. There's a chicken crisis going on right now in the UK that is affecting KFC restaurants in Bristol, Berkshire, Cheshire, Devon, Newcastle, Suffolk and Surrey. Signs were placed on the doors of the KFC restaurants that said, "Sorry, we're closed. We deliver our chickens fresh into our restaurants, but we've had a few hiccups with delivery today. We wouldn't want to open without affecting our full menu, but we'll be back at the fryers as soon as we can." A ton of people took it to Twitter to show their frustrations. Okay, so before we get right into this next big story, let me ask you guys, what do you think about gun control? Let me know your thoughts, your comments in the comment section below. Would gun control stop mass murders? Should we ban guns? Okay, so one of the most talked about stories right now is about 19-year-old Nikolas Cruz, the gunman who shot and killed 17 people while 15 more were taken to the hospital. Some of the victims were as young as 14 years old, those being the students, and there was even teachers that lost their lives, the oldest one being 49 years old. There was a geography teacher who tried to save his students by unlocking the door to try to allow more students inside and hide, but he was shot dead. Really sad story. This has become one of the world's deadliest school massacres in history. I have a ton of updates with this story. This mass shooting occurred at Marjorie Stonehead Douglas High School in Parkland, Florida, which is located in the Miami metropolitan area. Nikolas Cruz has just pleaded guilty to the Florida murders in a plea to avoid the death sentence. Back in September of 2017, there was a comment he posted on social media that stated that he wanted to become a professional school shooter with his AR-15 style rifle. Also, a month prior to the shooting, the FBI received a tip that Nikolas made death threats, but due to an error in the Miami field office, they were never notified of this information. Police and prosecutors have not yet established a motive for the rampage, and they're looking into patterns of disciplinary issues and his behavior. We do know Nikolas was expelled from his school for disciplinary reasons. We're not sure what they are yet. Nikolas arrived to his old school using Uber, and he was carrying a backpack and also had a long bag where he had his gun inside of. The school has about 900 students with 30 teachers inside, and Nikolas went into the school and activated the fire alarm so everyone would run towards him and he would be able to kill as many people as possible. Nikolas was armed with a Smith & Wesson MP15 gun that looked like this. He had what police said to be unlimited ammo. He had multiple magazines. He purchased the rifle legally from a nearby Coral Springer's gun store. So here's pictures of the gun shop, and the owner who sold the gun is mortified to what happened after he found out, and he is actually very afraid of the backlash that this will cause him. It's so crazy that Nikolas is just 19 years old. He's not even the legal age to buy liquor, buy beer, but he can legally buy a gun. It just makes no sense. Under Florida's gun laws, individuals can purchase a firearm at the age of 18 years old, but to buy liquor you have to be 21 years old. Going back to the incident, the shooting lasted for about 6 minutes. Nikolas after that time decided to blend in with the scared students, and he just ran outside the front door, and then he walked to a Walmart where he bought a pop, and then he walked to a McDonald's just to hang out for almost an hour. A police officer spotted him and arrested him without any problems. School cameras easily recorded Nikolas as the shooter, as the gunman, as the sicko. After the shooting happened, the first responders established a triage tent outside of the school. The school district provided grief counseling to the students and their families. Florida Attorney General Pam Bondi said the cost of funerals and counseling would be covered by the state. At least 3 countries in Florida and Virginia has increased police presence in schools. This is another question for you guys. What do you guys think about police officers walking inside and around high schools or public schools? I know when I was in high school, my high school was pretty bad, and we actually had a cop in every day patrolling the hallways, and they also talked about having metal detectors before we went inside of the school, because we actually had a few stabbings. This is a school I went to in Brampton, Ontario. Schools just seems like a very scary place lately. Well, let me know your thoughts of everything in the comment section below. Since this incident as well, there has been a lot more talks about gun control, and it has to be time to address these issues. President Donald Trump has been upsetting millions of people with his recent tweet about this. He tweeted this: "Very sad that the FBI missed all of the many signals sent out by the Florida school shooter. This is not acceptable. They are spending too much time trying to prove a Russian collusion with the Trump campaign. There is no collusion. Get back to the basics and make us all proud." Everyone is saying that they can't believe that President Trump is making this about Russia. Well, we all know where President Donald Trump stands with the gun control laws. He is for the Americans to have the rights to own guns to protect themselves. Well, here we have hundreds of people protesting in front of the White House. They're laying down playing dead to show what happens when people are allowed to have guns. They cause a lot of deaths. I think personally gun control is something Donald Trump and the White House must consider. They should take a look at it. Australia's last mass shooting was back in 1996, where a man killed 35 people with a semi-automatic weapon. After this, Australia began to ban rapid fire guns. There hasn't been a mass shooting since the ban of guns in Australia. Before 1996, there was 13 fatal mass shootings in Australia. So it seems like for a whole country, well, for this country, Australia, it worked. So why can't it work for America? According to the Gun Violence Archive, there were 346 mass shooting incidents in 2017 alone. So far in 2018, there has been 18 school shootings. That is insane. Something needs to happen. This right here is a student who was shot 5 times after being a hero after saving 20 of his classmates from the insane mass shooter. Sheriff Israel was honored to visit 15-year-old Anthony Borges, and I'm really hoping that this kid pulls through. Also in the news, we have Jon Venables, this guy who we've been talking about lately. Well, this was a picture of him at the age of 10 years old, and it became famous because, well, this kid was 10 years old and he committed murder. Well, now at the age of 35 years old, he's back in prison. Well, he is back in the news because he was attacked in prison with boiling hot water during a fight with another inmate. This attack was believed to be in retaliation for his part in the murder of 2-year-old toddler James back in 1993. Britain's youngest convicted murderer now fears, because his identity is now revealed, he feels like he is a marked man and everyone wants him dead. James, the toddler who lost his life, well, his mother just found out the full extent of what happened to her son, and also she recently found out with the rest of the world that Jon Venables was released from prison in 2001 under a new identity to keep him protected. Jon Venables abducted, tortured, and murdered, but he never served time in an adult prison for his crimes. Really messed up story. I'm just so glad he's back in prison where he belongs, and I'm glad he's a target. Also, one of the most talked about things right now is Black Panther. This movie has been sold out in the opening weekend, even with a bunch of new added times added to the theaters. This movie hit all kinds of records in the first 3 days of being released. The movie earned over $200 million in North America and has made over $400 million worldwide. The previous record high for a movie in February was Deadpool. That movie brought in $132 million, while Black Panther smashed that record. This is also the biggest non-sequel movie to ever come out. This was also the biggest solo superhero movie launch of all time. It's the biggest opening weekend for a movie that came out on a holiday. This is also the biggest opening weekend ever for any movie not directed by a white guy. I can go on and on to how successful this movie is, and a lot of people are just like making up a lot of these stats. I mean, you can pretty much take any movie and say to hit a record for something. You can probably find something. But you know what? I can't wait to see Black Panther in the upcoming Avengers Infinity War movie, and that movie is set to come out on Star Wars Day, May 4th. Avengers Infinity has the biggest cast of any movie in history. Marvel is going really big with this one. The movie is said to have a $1 billion budget, which is the most ever. It's said to have up to 76 superheroes. Let me show you guys a quick trailer for this movie. It is insane. The trailer has over 139 million views, which is also a record, but here's the trailer.
I'm balancing the universe. But this does put a smile on my face.
I have some Olympic news for you guys. There was another wardrobe malfunction during a figure skating routine by French skater Gabrielle Papadakis. She continued on with her routine, but hundreds in the arena did see her left breast exposed. She was exposed during the last few seconds of her routine. Canada and American broadcasters apologized for the unexpected nudity and have since edited the footage. Lucky for Gabrielle, it's actually very difficult to find pictures or a video of this nip slip because the Olympics did a great job of getting rid of it. Famous Canadian skaters Tessa Matthew and Scott Moyer have just broken their own short dance world record. And it was just announced that they have just won another gold medal. So now they have 2 gold medals in this event. Also, I wanted to talk about the Swiss skiers' dad and stepmom who biked from Switzerland to South Korea to see their son compete at the Winter Olympic Games. Here's a picture of that journey that was posted on social media. This journey began on February of 2017 and covered over 10,000 miles. The couple traveled over 20 countries during this incredible ride of a lifetime, and I'm not sure if they did this because they couldn't afford the flight or if they just wanted to do this insane challenge for themselves. Well, luckily they got to the Olympics on time. Can you imagine like you were there a month too late? Well, there you guys have it. That's all the news stories I have for you guys today. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys tomorrow.